Hello again, ladies, to part 2 of this recorded lecture, which talks about seasons. In this part, ladies, we are going to read this text. So, prepare yourselves to read text number 1. But first, you need to understand the key vocabularies here, as usual. Task number 1. Look at the words in bold and match sentences 1 to 4 to sentences A to D. Use the glossary on page number 194 to help you. Here, ladies, please pay attention. Here we have some words in bold, in extra thick black ink, which called bold. 2 plus 2 is 4. Sarah is happy. 2 plus 2 equals 4 is easy. Canada is cold in winter. This is section number, let's say, 1. Section number 2. It's not difficult. It's warm in summer. She is not sad. 2 minus 2 is 0. Do you find something in common between these words, ladies? Plus, minus, for example, happy, sad, easy, something like that. What do you think? Think about these bold words, ladies. What do you think? Give yourself a try. Think about it for 1 minute, for example. Do you remember, ladies, something we call it opposites? We talked about this concept during one of the previous lectures. Opposites. Like, for example, big is the opposite of small. Small is also the opposite of big. Here is a big box, and here is a small one. These two are opposites. Like, for example, here is a happy kid. The opposite of being happy is being sad. So sad is the opposite of happy, and vice versa. Happy is the opposite of sad. Warm here is the opposite of cold. Cold is the opposite of warm. So we call these opposites. So what do you think? Can we consider these sentences here the opposite of those or these here? What do you think? Give yourself 1 to 2 minutes to solve and to answer. Also to match sentences 1 to 4 to sentences A to D. Please take 1 to 2 minutes to find if you will find or if you can find opposites here. What do you think, ladies? Let's start with sentence number 1. 2 plus 2 is 4. Which one from A to D is the suitable match? Ask yourselves, what is the opposite of plus? Is it difficult, warm, sad, or minus? What do you think? 2 plus 2 is 4. The opposite of this sentence is D. 2 minus 2 is 0. So here we have plus, and the opposite of plus is minus. So A with D. What about number 2? Sarah is happy. What do you think? Happy. What is the opposite of happy? Sad. So Sarah is happy. The opposite of this sentence is she's not sad. Okay, the opposite of happy is sad. Number 3, 2 plus 2 equals 4 is easy. What do you think? The opposite of easy is A, difficult. So 3 with A. And finally, Canada is cold in winter. The opposite of cold is warm. It's warm in summer. So 4 with B. You can pause the video to check your answers. Moving to another task here. Match the words 1 to 7 to the correct numbers A to G. 21, 11, 18, 55, 42, 2012, 50. And here we have numbers. Do you remember, ladies, what we learned about pronouncing numbers, how to read numbers? Do you remember 11? And that we call them the teen numbers? Ladies, here is an easy way to read and to pronounce numbers. After finishing with number 10, we have number 11. Remember, we pronounce 11. We pronounce the n sound. We pronounce the n sound. So, starting from 11 to 19, we call, let me write it here, to 19. We call those numbers from 11 to 19 the teen numbers. Why? Why do we call them the teen numbers? Because here we have the teen at the end of them. So remember 11, starting with n sound here. So 11, 12, skip it for now. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So these are the 19 numbers. Whenever you see N or teen, remember to match it with numbers from 11 to 19. What about 20? Are we going to say 20? No, we are not going to say 20. We are going to move to something, we call it Y numbers or something like that. You need to know only the teen numbers and then you will make things easier on you. After 19, we are going to pronounce numbers like this: 20, 30, or 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So, can you notice the difference between 13 and 30, 14 and 40, 15 and 50, and so on and so forth? With 20, to make things easier to you, remember, it is 20, you add 1 to it, so 21. Then you will omit 1 to add 2, so it will be 22, 23, 24. We're still in the 20, okay? When we move to 30, same case, 30, 31, 32, you add a number to this one. You add new numbers to this one. So 30, you add 1, 31, 32, 33, 34, and so on and so forth. Please remember how to read these kind of numbers. Now moving to something also, we talked about it, which is decimal numbers. Do you remember that? Decimal numbers, where we have a number, point, and another numbers, or numbers, point, another numbers. How do we read this? Do you remember, ladies? How do we read decimal numbers? Like, for example, we read this 2.3 or 31. Here, 4.98. What about this one, ladies? Do you remember? What is this? How do we read it? Minus 23.2. And this one is plus 3.35. These are decimal numbers. So this is very important for you to understand in order to answer task number 2. Match the words 1 to 7 to the correct numbers A to G. What do you think? Take please 2 minutes, pause the video, stop the video to answer the question, to match the words with the correct numbers, and then back again to check your answers. 21. Which one of these numbers are 21? What do you think? Or 21? E. So 1 with E. Number 2, 11. Do you remember? Please remember the N sound. So 11 is with 2 with F. 3, 18. Do you remember the teen numbers? So 3 with B. 55. What do you think? 4 with A. 42. What do you think? 5 with D. 2012. What do you think? 6 with C. And finally, 57 with G. So, ladies, you can pause, stop the video to check your answers, and then come back again. Now, ladies, you need to prepare yourselves to read this text. But before that, you need to remember the reading skills we talked about last lecture: previewing, skimming, and scanning. Allow me, ladies, to back like few pages. Yes, here. To see or to remember, what do we mean by previewing? Previewing means looking at a text before you read it. There is no need at all to read anything. You need only to preview it. When preview a text, we look at the text and think about the questions below. Are there any photographs? What is in the photographs? What is the title of the text? Where is the text from? Is it from a book, a magazine, or a web page? So you can find this on page number, I think it is 20. Yes, 20. So as we said, prepare yourselves to read this text here. Before that, you need to preview the text. You need to ask yourselves, do we have graphs, photographs? Yes, we have 2 photographs here. We have a diagram. We have headings. We have important lines, like here, the coldest city. Do not read anything. Try just to take a general or to preview quickly without reading anything. Here we have one. Here we have one. Let me make it bigger to you. Here. Also here. Also here. So, yeah, we preview everything. Now, we can answer these 4 questions. Look at the graphs. We already did that. Graphs, photographs, and headings in the text on the opposite page, and write true, correct, or false, means wrong, next to the statements 1 to 4 below. Number 1. Yakutsk is a city. What do you think? What do you think? Here we have city, here we have Yakutsk. Is it a city or a country? Winter is very cold in Yakutsk. Summer is very cold in Yakutsk. Svetlana has a cafe in Moscow. What do you think? Take 1 minute, only 1 minute. Pause the video for 1 minute. Challenge yourself for 1 minute or even less to answer these 4 questions. Actually, ladies, you need to answer it as quickly as or as fast as you can, because you do not read anything, you only preview. So, in few seconds, you must have done this. So, number 1, Yakutsk. Yes, it is a city. It's not a country. It's inside a country. Number 2, winter is very cold in Yakutsk. What do you think? Is it true? Is it false? We see here Yakutsk in winter. So what do you think? True. Number 2 is true. Number 3, summer is very cold in Yakutsk. What do you think? False. Wrong. Summer is warm. Number 4, Svetlana has a cafe in Moscow. So, here we have a picture. What do you think? False. Svetlana has a cafe in Yakutsk. So you can now, ladies, pause the video. You can stop the video to check your answers and come back again. Now, ladies, look at this graph. This graph here, ladies, and translate this sentence. Average temperatures in Yakutsk. This sentence. Translate this sentence from English into Arabic. Try to write the translation, your translation. Give me the meaning of this sentence in Arabic. Try to write it here, and I will check your answers in the next traditional class, inshallah. If you want to use the glossary on page number 194 to check your translation, you can do so. Or you can, if you understand the meaning of average temperature, and we already talked about the meaning of average temperatures, and now Yakutsk is a new word. Either you can search, Google it, or you can find a way to give me the meaning of Yakutsk. And speaking of which, ladies, you can Google Yakutsk in order to read more about this Russian city. Either in English, or here you have the Arabic. Here, Yakutsk. It's a good way to educate yourself, to know even more about this city inside Russia. Now, ladies, you need to start reading the text, but you need to remember to scan to find a specific information about these sentences. Please, can you remember what is the meaning of skimming and scanning? both skimming and scanning are reading quickly, okay? But what is the difference between skim and scan? Here skim to have a general idea, but scan to have specific ideas about these types of informations. Here we have the definition of scanning. Scanning means to find information. Scanning means looking for information. When we scan, we do not read everything. We do not read every word in a text. We can scan for numbers. If you find a question asks you about certain numbers, scan for those specific numbers. If you find a question that requires you to find people's names, you can only look at names. Places, you can only search for places, and so on and so forth. Here is a great tip actually. For names of places and names of people, look for capital letters to find people and places. Here's a capital letter, so it's either a name of a place or a name of a people. Of course, we already know what's the meaning of Yakutsk. And here is also a capital letter, so Svetlana. Maybe you may wonder if this is a person name or not. Yes, her name is Svetlana. So for scanning, look at specific information. So while reading, match the facts 1 to 6 to the correct numbers A to F. Read the sentences, read the text, ladies. Read this text. Give yourself, for example, 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes to read the entire text, to understand it. First, start with the skimming, then with the scanning to answer this question. Challenge yourselves, ladies. Take 3 to 5 minutes to do so. You can pause the video to complete the reading task and then come back again to see the answers. So here, ladies, we have the average temperature in summer. What do you think? One with E, plus 20 Celsius. And we talked about Celsius and Fahrenheit, so on and so forth. Number 2, the writer went to Yakutsk. It's obvious. So 2 with B. Here is, these are numbers and here is a year, so it's kind of obvious. Number 3, the average temperature in winter. What do you think? In winter. So here we have minus, minus, minus. You can use your logic. We cannot say winter plus 20. Winter usually, especially or specifically speaking in Russia, usually the temperature degrees there are minus, below 0. So is it minus 42, minus 55, minus 21? What do you think? 3 with the A. Number 4, Daria's age. What do you think? These are temperatures, so it's obvious. 4 with the C. Number 5, the temperature when kindergartens and schools are closed. What do you think? D. And finally, the average temperature in spring and autumn. 6 with F. You can, ladies, pause the video to check your answers and then come back again to see the next part. Here, ladies, you can find some questions you can ask yourself, or you can work with a partner. Each one of you can ask yourself, is life easy in Yakutsk? Is winter cold in my country? Is winter cold in Saudi Arabia? How hot is the summer in Saudi Arabia? What do you think? Is it hot? Is it warm? Is winter cold in Saudi Arabia? Is it yes? No? Do you like hot summers and cold winters? Do you like summer to be very hot? Do you like winters to be, winters to be very, very cold? If yes, tell me why. If no, or tell yourselves why. If no, say why. This is it, ladies, for part number 2. See you in the next one.